Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to take this old Dinky 25x comma breakdown lorry from shabby to shiny. This is, was made between 1954 and 1959, so over 70 years old, and that blows my mind. This is part of the kind of Dinky collection that I picked up from Janet just a week or so ago. And with this one, it seems to have taken a little bit of modification during its life. The previous owner, Janet's late husband, he was also into Meccano, and it seems like perhaps as a child, this had broke and he'd fixed it. And I wanted to keep that kind of originality with this one. But I hope you like it. And with 2,000 likes, it could be yours. So here it is. You can obviously quite clearly see the Meccano set on the back and the screw here, modification. But it just simply reads underneath Dinky Toys, comma. And there you go. So there's a Meccano screw. It's kind of almost like a bolt, a nut and bolt, but with like a screw head. But yeah, you can see here the Meccano pieces and probably hook made from a coat hanger. But I like that. We've also got an odd set of wheels. The kind of doing some, little bit of research, obviously finding out the year, finding out the full name. I can see now that the original wheels would have been what's on the front here, the red set, and the grey set would have been on something else. But, I'll be keeping both of these in place today. And you can now see now this was repainted in a light blue, this front cab, but underneath you can see the original colour, and it was like a brownish colour. And it would have been nice, but this guy, back perhaps when he was a child, painted it blue, and again I wanted to keep with that. I wanted to just freshen up what we've got here. I wanted to repaint the front end in the blue, as he imagined, the rear end in the green from the original, but then keep all of these kind of modifications from over the years. Toys today, something gets a crack in it, something gets a missing, it just gets thrown in the bin, it's replaced. But during the 50s, 60s, 70s, if something was broken, you fixed it. You kind of, even if it was a home fix, like this one. And that's what really, I guess, makes this one a little bit more special to me. So you can see there, it all still works, it's all still very playable. But I'm just going to reach for my little kind of set of mini pliers. The back piece here is held on by, again, probably a piece of coat hanger. So I'm just going to pull this out. And there we can see a little bit of damage on the rear here. And I'm just going to straighten that up as best as I can. And I'm not going to do any further work with it. Again, just trying to retain that originality, but, just try and make good of it. And I'm not going to take this apart. I'm going to clean it up, and then I'm going to be replacing it just as it is. So I'm just going to try and figure out how to take this base plate off. And actually there's a couple of little tabs as well as that screw that was holding it on. Now bear in mind this is over 70 years old. Those little tabs, one did break off. That first one, as I bent it open, and I guess it was just one bend too far, and it lost its strength, and it did snap off. But you know, that's fair enough, and that's fine. The screw bolt holds that on anyway. So here's the wheels now, and the axle's coming out, and then just a little tab in the front end of that. And you can actually see here the original brown paint that this would have been that it come in. But like I say, I'm going to be painting it in a light blue colour. I'm not going to try and colour match the blue or the green. I'm just going to make up my own blue and my own green, but you know, in the same realm of what they are from this casting today. Same again with the wheels. On the previous Dinky, I kept the kind of the original, and I thought that was a nice theme. And actually, you guys down in the comments, 100% positive, seemed to also agree with me that was the right thing to do and the right way to go. And I'm going to be doing that the same again with this one, and I hope you agree again. But please do voice your comments, concerns, positive or negative, down in the comments section below. I read them all, and if it's a nice comment, maybe I'll reply. But anyway, here we are in my famous foot-long hot dog jar, and it's covered in boiling water, and then a couple of teaspoons just gently put in here of caustic soda. You may have noticed then there's a few caustic soda, are they crystals, fell out then. That big piece that you do see there, later on I think what I do is I just kind of sweep my desk. That piece fell in between my toes, and I didn't realise until about 10 minutes later as it starts burning in between my toes. So yeah, that was good fun later on. But anyway, thankfully no lasting damage. But you can see here it's almost like swamp water. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of reaction, and yeah, I kind of just watched this off camera for some time. It was quite interesting. And here's the kind of wheel sections here. The tyres popped off easily, and that was a bad thing. These tyres are kind of flat spotted. They're all cracked, and they're, to be honest, just about to crumble in my hands. So these will need to be replaced today. I will keep them. You never know. But realistically, I don't think these are any more usable. But I've gone through my little parts box, and I've actually picked out some later Lesney ones. So these are probably 10 years newer, 10, 15, maybe 20 years newer, perhaps from the 60s. And these are Lesney ones that I picked out, and they're a good size and a good fit to this casting. So, and it also, you know what, with the Meccano, I felt okay by putting on Lesney tyres onto this Dinky, and I hope again that you'll agree. But I'm just going to use my boiled hot water to try and make these tyres a little bit more malleable, and then eventually fit over these wheels. And I'm going to give them the pledge treatment. You know, the paint on the wheels, or lack of in this case, is showing its age, but I want to give it a nice little shine to that age. And then after about perhaps 15 minutes, I have poured down the sink all of that caustic solution, and what we're left with, I think all the paint has gone. And I did think, oh, maybe there was some kind of blue paint on this rear end, but it wasn't. It was just, I guess, come out of the water. these were in green. I've done a bit of googling, and like I say, the front was in the brown, but today we're going to be going with a light blue. I considered kind of straightening out this base, but it didn't seem worth it. I'm going to be putting that screw back in later on, and it will just bend it back in again. So I'm just going to polish everything up using my little tack knife, and I'll just give you a little sample on the roof section of my truck here. Just tidy up a little bit of water and battery power, or water and electrics don't really mix, do they? And there's just the roof section, but she's coming up quite nice, so I'll get to doing the same over everything. And here we are. Took me perhaps 20 minutes or so, and there's the little base plate there, which I'll be painting in the Tamiya TS14. And this had come out really lovely, showing some patina still, and this is going to be left untreated. And that'll go straight on. That is ready. And you got the main casting here, and then the rear end. Lots of little kind of nooks and crannies and angles I need to work with here, but this will be getting the Tamiya Fine Surface Primer in grey. But first I shall hit up that base. No primer on this one. There was a couple of comments in the previous Dinky video which mentioned that these bases weren't necessarily painted. Now I've seen some pictures, some were, some weren't. I've taken the choice to paint my one. Normally I'd go with the unpainted finish, but yeah, I just felt that painted in black on this occasion was the right thing to do. So getting in the primer there, just trying to get in all those little angles. And then same again with the main cab here. Imagine the hours of fun or the hours of play that this casting would have had. Nothing like today's toys. You know, speaking from experience with my own children, they'll play for a toy for an hour and then they'll move on to the next one, and then they've got no interest on that old one. This toy car, I bet you, has got hundreds and hundreds of hours of play in it. So here's a green that I've mixed up for the rear. It's perhaps not as vibrant or bright as the original one. Funnily enough, I've kind of felt like this was more of a period correct green. Just toned down a little bit. But ultimately, it's kind of what I've got to work with. This is a Humbrol enamel, and it's a gloss 38, just with a little mixture of a couple of other little paints, but ultimately that's what it is. And there's the first coat there. And then going with a light blue, I went with, just reaching for it, this is a Revel email colour, again in enamel, number 51, kind of 50% that and 50% in the white. I do like to use enamel paints. I haven't actually used enamel for some time. Main reason is that I haven't had any kind of enamel thinners, but I finally got around to getting some more, so you'll see some enamel paints coming back onto the channel. But it's the following day. All of this has had 24 hours dry time, so there's the rear kind of boom section there. And you got the front and rear wheels, and the red goes on the front. I actually tried to put it the other way around, but it just wouldn't fit, so they do go that way only. And then you got their base plate there with that kind of cover of black on the underside. You got all the bits and pieces there to put that kind of rear boom on, and then you got the cab here. And then you can see I've highlighted a few details with my chrome pen. And then just the rear section here. Originally it had Dinky service decals on the side, and I did have a look through my decal section, but just didn't really have anything suitable. But anyway, that's what she looked like. And here's the final result. So I think this is probably what, you know, the young chap that modified this vehicle had in mind, or maybe even looked like. Perhaps not 70 years ago when it was brand new, but maybe 60, 65 years ago. And bringing it back up to shiny spec again today. Oh, I really like it. Yeah, I could have put some decals on the side. I could have perhaps matched up the wheels. I could, of course, replace that rear end with something that was perhaps even more suitable. But I just don't think I would have felt right to do that. I felt this was the right thing to do for this truck today. And if it reaches 2,000 likes, it could be yours. But anyway, just want to take this opportunity to thank my amazing patrons. And thank you guys for watching. And Janet, thanks again. Hopefully you'll stick around to the next one.